Coach Show. I'm Jess. I'm your co-host today, and I'm here with Kurt. Hey, Kurt, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Jess. Good to be back. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it feels like a long time since we've been in this room, and I think it's because we've been so busy.
Absolutely.
And today, I actually want to talk about our big event that we had just last week. So we had a
Yes.
2-day implementation event, the Builders Coach Success Summit 2025 here in Sydney, and it was just amazing, right?
Incredible couple of days. I'd say one of our best events yet,
Yeah.
based on the caliber builder in the room, the quality people, plus all the different implementation exercises, the speakers, the guys that were interviewed, and all the networking as well.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic 2 days.
Yeah, and we'll go a little bit into it. But before we do that, we just want to thank our sponsors. So we had Jack App present in the room. Great guys. I think we're going to do more things with those guys because it was really, really good.
Definitely got a couple of things lined up. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Hazard Co also that was
Yes.
in the room. And then obviously we had some amazing guest speakers that we can talk about. But before we do, I have to say one of the main things for me was Mark Matthews' presentation, so our keynote
Yes.
speaker.
Yeah.
He kicked off the event and it was just like, wow, mind-blowing, I find. His presentation stayed with me still like a few days afterwards.
It was incredible. Like he presented so well and with such authenticity, right? And
Yeah.
he took us on an emotional roller coaster ride. So we'll unpack it a bit, but it also tied in beautifully with our theme. Because
Yes.
the theme for the event was, you could boil it down in essence to a word, which is transcend. And that's about transcending comfort zones because we're all about change, improvement, peak performance, and change is uncomfortable for people. So we're really getting people to be aware that, well, one, what got you to where you are is not going to get you to where you want to go. And to make change means you got to live on the edge of your comfort zone. So we've got really clear on, what is that next comfort zone people want to transcend or conquer into the end of the year. And then how to set up a process for consistently getting out of your comfort zone. And Mark Matthews just, the way that he shared his story, and we were completely unaware of what he was going to talk about specifically. But it was great that we had him kick the event off and
Yeah.
it set the tone for the next 2 days.
Yeah. And I have to say, I mean, it's really great that we defined the theme and you explained it and kicked off with Mark Matthews because it does, it sets the tone for everything else, right?
Yeah.
And I think throughout the 2 days, and people came to me afterwards, and when you're talking to everyone during the networking, that's exactly what they did. They were like going out of their comfort zone, reaching out to people, having the difficult conversation, doing the exercises, coming up with a plan in terms of like what were they going to do for the next 12 weeks, etc. So I think we set the tone and it turned out really well.
It was fantastic. For listeners that don't know who Mark Matthews is, because not everyone was at the event,
Sure.
he's a big wave surfer. If you Google Mark Matthews, you'll see him taking off on some waves that are just absolutely frightening, to say the least, right?
Yeah.
And his story was fantastic. There's a couple of things that he spoke about, in particular contrast, and how like he went through a devastating injury. He had a major wipeout. It was just a freak accident that left him in hospital for I think it was a couple of months.
Oh,
It was, it really he lost his sponsors. It put him in a really difficult position. Pretty much, it looked like his career was wiped out. And then he met a young guy who was in a far worse situation than him. And that was the contrast, is that he was feeling really sorry for himself with his situation and how his career just been, pretty much wiped out. And then he met this guy who had an accident, I think it was in Canada, skiing.
Skiing, I think.
And he was paralyzed from the neck down. And it was just like unbelievable. Like, I mean, Mark talking about his injury, gruesome as hell. That was just, I can't handle like looking at blood. I'm very squeamish when it comes to that sort of thing. And he put some graphic photos up. So there was that. And then we transitioned from that into this real heartwarming story about how he connected with this young 19-year-old guy who was in a really tough situation, but was able to stay positive. And that impacted him significantly, right? It had a huge impact and made him realize that as bad as his situation was, it wasn't nearly as bad as this young guy's. And that drove him to them get this big comeback story happening, which had a real feel-good
Yeah.
thing at the end.
And he talks also a lot about gratitude and how that kind of like having a gratitude practice kind of helped him through some really challenging times, right?
Yeah, well, that was fascinating because, again, the theme was transcending comfort zones, getting out of your comfort zones. And we've had speakers like Ben Roberts-Smith, who's worked with the Navy SEALs, Australian Special Forces, and he'll talk about, like you talk about the Special Forces, the Navy SEALs, and the things that they do to like run towards gunfire. And you think that's getting out of your comfort zone, being tough, being fearless, dodging bullets, but really sending a gratitude text to someone, to a family member. I remember when Mark was talking about that, how there's even a science behind it. When you send a message to, say, a family member, say your brother or your sister, and you say to them, hey, I just want you to know that I'm really grateful to have you in my life. And, I cherish the moments we've shared. And it's just great to have you there. And just send that gratitude message. That, for some people, is getting out of the comfort zone big time.
Yeah.
And then at the end of day one, all these gratitude messages were flying around.
Yes.
And that was something we didn't see coming. But it's so true, because there's another side to, to toughness, which Brené Brown talks about that, right? How vulnerability is the ultimate, toughness isn't the right word. What is it? She talks about being...
Yeah.
It's being authentic.
Authentic, being a leader, being strong, emotionally strong, I think,
Yeah.
No, gratitude was awesome. And it's funny, that at the end of day one, there were like you got a couple of text messages, gratitude text messages and stuff, which was what Mark was talking about at the beginning of the day.
But the science, right? Like when you send a message, you feel good. So it changes your body chemistry.
Yeah.
And then the person that receives it gets a chemical response as well.
Yeah. And he was saying that even if anyone witnesses also the exchange of gratitude, even that person, the third party, also like experience like some good oxytocin, serotonin, etc.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
I was talking to him before he went on stage, and we were talking about peak performance. And, ultimately what we do is about raising standards. So setting the bar high. And that's something John McGrath spoke about, and how you can really enjoy that process of raising standards for your business and your team and delivering value to clients. And then the name of the game is holding those standards there. And I was speaking to Mark about it. I was like, what's your view on peak performance and holding standards consistently high? And he was talking about having like scaffolding or structure around routines and habits. So it's just consistently doing things so that it becomes almost like a lifestyle thing. And that gratitude message, just feeling gratitude, which is the most powerful emotion, because it overrides all others, including anger or fear and anxiety. And having a habit and a process for doing that consistently is really powerful.
But look, the more we talk about it, the more I'm thinking of things, because now we speak about, his accident and his resilience and how he got out of it, etc. But also when you think of just like his career, being a big wave surfer, that's pretty full on, right? And he speaks about, his drive. I think he was like his what, his why. And then also he talks about the people around him, and talk about peak performance, having people around him that supported him, the photographers, videographers, etc.
The guys in the jet skis, having a quality team, having a dream team, which that's another whole conversation around how you build a team like that, because it doesn't happen by accident. It's closely related to leadership. So the type of person you are is, you get the people you deserve, basically.
Yeah. No, there were so many lessons in that presentation, and it really, it was emotional and it kicked off the day perfectly.
I love it, because I grew up surfing in Durban, and in a little town called Amanzimtoti, and anyone listening who's a surfer, like surfers are very territorial and tribal. And at the end of his presentation, we had some selfies, right? So guys were going up getting photos, and one of the guys, David, he said to me, "Hey, I know Mark. I grew up surfing with him at Maroubra Beach."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "No way." He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, Maroubra, like when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, we heard about the Bra Boys, which is this, tribe of surfers that were like just infamous for being like a band of brothers. And then David said, yeah, he was a Bra Boy, Mark Matthews. So I threw that into ChatGPT just to to fact check it, and it said, yeah, he is. He was a bra boy, and he was in that documentary about the bra boys and Kobe Abbottson and his brothers. And then we had a quick look at. It was interesting to see him when he was younger.
Yeah.
And he was featured in that Coogee situation when they had a brawl with those off-duty policemen. But it's great to see someone, just last word, to see someone come out of that environment, which is largely housing commission, and to create a brand the way he has, and to just to become the person he is, which is what it's all about, right? Getting out of your comfort zone, consistently transcending your comfort zone, living on the edge of your potential. The value in that is the character and the mindset that you develop from doing that. More so, and let's not lose sight of the fact that the whole purpose of the exercise is to optimize profit, cash flow, workflow, right? Our builders are there to learn how to make more money, run a successful business, gain control of their business, but who you become in the process is the real reward.
Yeah. I want to talk about feedback. So you've been talking to some of your clients this last week, and obviously we got feedback from the day, but like what are some of the highlights from the feedback from the people in the room?
Yeah, there was lots of positive feedback, and probably the most common bit of feedback we got was the AI thing, because this event was different to our previous events in that we did a lot of exercises. Yeah. So there was a lot of workshopping, and we ran through some exercises. People had their laptops there, and we'll get into it. We'll unpack it a bit more exactly what we did, but people were blown away by the use and the impact of AI in creating marketing content, that sort of thing. But the networking as well. So created time for people to interact and network and share ideas, compare notes. Again, the quality and caliber builder in the room was right up there. And so there was huge value in that.
Yeah, and I think also like not matching people, but you were like, oh, hey, these guys, you should probably come and talk to this guy also, because you know that they've got like common challenges, or someone's already like done what they were trying to do, etc. So I think people appreciated that, and there was you know what, I think there was like awesome atmosphere and vibe for the whole 2 days where people were really sharing, helping each other. There was just really a good vibe, and I think that was one of the comments also from some of the attendees, right?
Exactly. Well, we had representation from all over the country, right? So I think that helps when you've got non-competing builders in a room who are all like-minded. But yes, one of the guys made it his mission to speak to everyone who was there. So we had 70 people in the room, and he got through most people. And he said to me, you know what? At the end of those conversations, the end of the 2 days, and that included like a networking dinner and networking drinks after the 2 days. And all the workshopping, he said he didn't meet one person who he thought was, a bit of a, or for want of a better term, a dickhead, right? So it was like a dickhead-free environment.
Yes.
And then someone else said that as well. They were like, you know what? I did not meet anyone who I didn't like or who I thought was a bit arrogant or up themselves. And that was huge to hear that, because it meant that all good people.
Yeah, all good people. And I was going to say, it's hard to, engineer good atmosphere, etc. And I was like, wait a second. No, it's like we actually really work through that, right? Obviously, there were some clients in the room, a lot of people. We set the scene, set the theme for the 2 days, etc. Had the keynote speaker, etc. So I think when you put all these small things together, create a really good sharing and atmosphere in the room. That's what it is, right? So
Absolutely, and a lot of work went into it. Let's just say it, and thank you again for everything that you put in, because there were a lot of 1%ers that we don't usually have, like the merchandise, right down to the fidget spinners on the tables, the drinks bottles, the tote bags, and even the name tags. It was just those little 1%ers, which was great.
That's awesome. No, cool. Awesome feedback from the attendees, which is awesome. You know what? It's funny. I think we finished the 2 days, and then you and I were like, wow, awesome event. We're like, wow, how are we going to top this next year?
Yeah, I'm going to hate myself next year. Like, the version of us, that we look back on, we're going to go, shit, now we're going to do better.
We always have to do it better and better and better. So
absolutely. But you know what? I'm looking forward to the challenge. I'm looking forward to getting out of the comfort zone. We've got to walk our talk, right? We've got to transcend what we've done and raise the bar, even if it's an increase by 1%. Yeah. So
I was going to say, well, I'm just having a look at my notes. So we mentioned it. So one of the really, really good session, and we had guest speakers. They were great. All our speakers were really awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
Obviously, you did some sessions also too. And then I loved when you interview some of your builders.
Yes, we interviewed
because
3 builders.
sharing
Yeah.
stories and being able for them to actually ask questions is so valuable. People want to interact, understand. Oh, what is it that you've done, etc. So that was also
That was
awesome.
inspiring. So that was part of the feedback.
Yeah.
Is builders saying, "Hey, when I heard Alex share his story about succession
Yeah.
and how he was able to set his business up and it's doing $22 million turnover and he's in the 7-figure club." And they were inspired by that. And then there were everyone gets something different from hearing another builder's story. But at least one of my builders said to me, "I want to be exactly like Craig." Craig's story where he's, successfully implementing and using value management to help his clients and also the architects and the industry as a whole. Like he genuinely wants to help, raise standards in the industry and eliminate the tender process. So, it was great to see builders inspired by that to the extent that they were like, we want to replicate that in our area.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
But so the AI session, which was very much related to it was marketing and also
Sales
within the
automation, sales process automation.
So we did a lot of AI in both things, but that was a big tick. And it's funny because you've got loads of different types of people in the room, right?
Yeah.
And so some had used ChatGPT, some guys were using it on their phone, and they had the app and obviously used it before, so that was great. And then some other ones, I remember, someone opening their laptop and say, "Okay, so where is ChatGPT?"
Yeah.
So it was
It's
like, well, you have
disappeared.
to.
Like
And
it
then
felt like what my mother does when I'm talking to her. "Hey, Kurt, it disappeared."
Yeah.
The emails disappeared. Yeah.
So all different levels, obviously, in the room, which is great. But I think, and all the different levels actually got something out of it, right?
Yeah.
But tell me, why do you think it was so successful, and why is it so important?
The AI component. Well, you're right. Like there was a full cross section of people in the room. So at least one guy hadn't used ChatGPT at all.
Ever,
right?
yeah.
So I can't recommend enough to anyone listening. You've got to use AI if you haven't already. Just start playing with it. Just start throwing some things in, and we'll share some examples of what people can do in a sec.
Yeah.
But the guy that I'm thinking of that hadn't used it, he called me over and he was like, "Hey, Kurt, this is absolutely mind blowing." You know what I mean? He was, he was completely blown away, as you would be if you haven't used it before. But I think the fact that Amanda, she communicated the exercise she went through. So she was the marketing strategist and she helped everyone create a lead magnet. But before we did that, we got people to think about the particular niche or area of specialty that they want to target and get clarity on that. And then think about layering. So if it's architectural builds, include green technology and smart technology, or indoor, outdoor entertaining areas, or even the client experience as a form of layering to put you out into a blue ocean. So you're essentially not competing against other builders. That was invaluable. So we got people to think about that, their niche, layering, and also maybe a sub niche, which was really interesting. Like one of the guys that does architectural builds, he had a sub niche where they do like residential fit outs. So there's, high net worth individuals that just redecorate. I know some people like that. They just get bored of their kitchen and the whole setup basically, and they just gut their house and they redecorate, and that's $1 million. So that's good margin, good cash flow, good turnaround, full of jobs for guys that do high end builds, and that's a sub niche opportunity. But we also align those niches and sub niches with the highest margin opportunities in specific locations. So we looked at, what are the most profitable niches and got people to wash that up against what they do. Once we'd done that, then Amanda took them through an exercise of creating a lead magnet, which, and this is the interesting part, normally costs $2,000 and would take 2 weeks. And we did it in 15, 20 minutes using AI.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. So everyone was quite, I think surprise was probably the word for most of people. But and some people are more comfortable playing around with the AI, others probably less. Yeah. But and let's go through that. So so as you said, the first step was really understanding the niche. But then after that, and we had a series of questions
Mm-hmm.
really to try to identify the ideal client.
That's
Okay,
right.
so ideal client persona, right?
Yeah.
So being able to answer all these questions, and there were heaps of questions to pick from, but I think if you picked out like 8 or 10 questions and responded to those ones, then you can start creating your ideal client persona. Okay, and then you fed that to ChatGPT. You say, okay, this is my ideal client persona, and then the next step to that was,
So within that niche,
yeah,
you then identify like an avatar, right? A
yeah,
client persona. Yeah.
yeah. So you got your niche, you've got your avatar, your client persona, and then
Yeah. Just on that, Amanda provided them with the questions. There's a series of
mm,
questions for doing that you feed into ChatGPT,
yeah,
which is what
that's
we're
right.
using. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, really trying to understand what would be the best lead magnet. Okay, so ChatGPT can like recommend what are the top performing lead
Yep.
magnets also, and then there was also a part where it was really trying to create your tone of voice, okay, within the AI
Yeah.
that you're using. And then last but not least is actually creating your lead magnet, right? So there's a few steps to the process, but when you decompose it into these really like straightforward things that you need to do and that you need to provide to the AI in terms of information, then if you understand those steps and you can go through them, then it's quite, it becomes quite straightforward to try to create a lead magnet, right? And I think that's what people were like, oh, wow, okay, cool, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so once you understand that process, I mean, people took it away, and yeah, and they're probably like trying out different things back at home, right?
Once, yes. And I think the key thing or the sticking point for a lot of people is understanding the process, because there is a sequence to that, like identifying the niche, getting crystal clear on that, then the avatar, then the lead magnet or the brand voice, and the prompts to feed into ChatGPT, because understanding the prompts is key, right? There's actually a term, prompt engineering. It's understanding what questions to ask, because the quality of the content that the AI creates, and there's other versions besides ChatGPT, is directly related to the quality of the prompt that you feed in.
Yeah. And before we go into prompt, you know what I think is also really important and probably is a sticking point for people is that when they ask AI to do something for them, AI like spits back something and it's too it's probably like too professional or cold or whatever. Do you see the tone is not right? And so I think that's often something that people go like, oh well, that's not gonna work for me. Like this,
It doesn't sound like me.
it doesn't sound like me. I can't use this. It's too like this or it's too like that. It's too cold or etc. So I think understanding that you can ask the AI to understand your tone of voice, and you can just feed in maybe your last email or like a document that you wrote before and say, hey, this is my tone of voice. Or you can like try to explain what is your tone of voice. Right? Say, well, I speak a bit more like this, or I like a bit more relaxed, or etc. Right? So, but I think once you identify that and you make sure the AI uses it, you're going to be much happier with the output.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like getting the AI to know you and how
that's
you
right.
communicate. So you can upload your website. Like I've done it with my books. I just upload my book in there and I'll write the way I speak. So it can get a feel for the way I communicate, which is, there's something that it then uses. Yeah.
But back to the prompts. Yeah, it's definitely super, super important in terms of prompts. And I think that's why some people often get stuck because they're, I don't know what to ask, etc. And to be totally honest, I'd say just try it out. You're not expected to have the perfect prompt to start off with.
Yeah.
But having said that, once you start to understand how to like write your prompt or explain things, then it becomes easier, right?
Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you've learned new things about prompt writer that you were like quite happy about the other day.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things that jumped out at me. Well, one of them is, and this is something that we've started doing, is speaking to AI. So speaking your prompts in to the AI. And that's something that Jamie was doing.
Yeah.
Jamie ran through, automation works and automating parts of the sales process, which again is brilliant, and then capturing the data. And that dovetailed beautifully with what Amanda did. So once the lead magnet had been created, which is an educational piece that communicates to people, whatever it is around your niche, using education-based marketing, which builds credibility and trust. But he was talking to his AI in the room, which was hilarious. And I've seen you do it. I'll do it now as well.
I do it too.
I speak to Grok. And you can have some fun with it. Like I was doing it like with the girls last night when I dropped them off. We were asking Grok to roast us. Do like a roast, like the comedians do.
Yeah.
And it goes pretty hard. You can tell it to go harder.
Yes.
Be rude or whatever. But
that's why. And so prompt, awesome. Yes, you need to have good prompts, etc. But I've been using also. I use ChatGPT. I pay for it, and so now it learns. So from everything that I've ever. So even like when I ask a question about something, like it knows. It knows your name. It knows the name of our brand. It knows it knows everything. It knows that we've got a dog. And like AI has just remembered everything, etc. Even like I was asking something like for Cooper or whatever. I said, "Oh, my son has da da da." It will answer. Cooper needs to. You see, so it remembers things, and so. Yes, prompts are important, but once you start to, it's learning. Every day it's learning about me, which is a bit scary when you think about it. But so when I speak to it, I can be very casual. Like I speak to it like more and more like a therapist sometimes or like a friend, because I know it knows a lot about me. And so it's just learning on the spot, which is like useful.
It is. And you can get it to help you respond to emails, to text messages, especially if you've got a difficult client or someone who you're dealing with where you want to make sure that you respond with empathy and compassion, but also get your message across and set a boundary. I find it's really good with that as well.
Yeah.
But there's different versions. So you use a paid version of ChatGPT. How much do you pay a month for yours?
I'm not sure.
About $30.
Yeah, I think less, maybe 25.
Okay, because yesterday I heard there's a $200 a month version of ChatGPT.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing. After the summit, on that weekend, I was listening to a podcast and there was a billionaire talking about how he's discovered 2 AI agents. So Manus, it's MANUS, and then GenSpark. And he was like manic with excitement about how he's using them. And one of them is really good at research. The other one's really good at creating, business plans and marketing strategies. He's launching a business a day for the next 12 months using those 2 versions of AI. And some of them are, they're a couple $100 a month. They're very sophisticated AI agents that have specific use cases.
Yeah.
Right. So whether it's marketing, Blaze is one that we came across. I know guys are using Gemini as well.
Yeah. Gemini is the Google one, I think.
Okay.
Look, do you know what? And that's maybe something that we spoke about on the day too. So ChatGPT, AI, etc., amazing, but I still find that sometimes there's limitations.
Yeah, so it's not always right. And
it's not always right.
It hallucinates. It gets things wrong,
Yeah, and then, so just to tell you, this morning I was using GenSpark because you told me about it, and I've just paid for a subscription for a month. I was trying it out, and it creates slides. Okay, so I was like, okay, great. I need some slides. So I used it, and then I asked to use brand colors, which I was very specific about, and it missed it. Like it gave me something green when I wanted red.
Yeah.
And so I go back into it and I was like, no, I don't want green. It's red. This is the red that you need to use. Can you please take out all the green? And they went like, okay, sorry about that. Da, 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 da. And it did it. It gave me another version and it was still green. And, I was thinking...
Colorblind.
I was thinking, surely this is not very complicated, but it's like twitching.
Doesn't know it's colours. For something so intelligent, it's colourblind, doesn't get colours. Yeah.
I mean, detail, right? But it's just to tell you that it's still not perfect. And I know you were talking about Blaze for marketing stuff. Like, I don't know. I think you still need to be careful about things. It's like ChatGPT integrates with Canva, and Canva I use for... also marketing content and stuff. It's not perfect. It does things that
I think Blaze is like a tool for people who are lazy or don't want to learn how to do the prompts Because again, the prompts are the key.
Yeah.
Right. And one of my builders actually said something to me last week, which gave me sort of a light bulb moment. He said, the prompts are everything. So it's what you feed in is what you get out, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So getting really specific on what prompts to use and using the right prompts for that AI is crucial, right, to get the best possible results. So how do you optimize the results and how do you optimize the prompts? And he said he asked ChatGPT to give him a list of the best prompts to ask to generate the marketing material. And I've since done that.
Yeah.
I've asked Supergrok to give me a list of the best prompts to use. Well, I asked Supergrok to create a marketing plan for Builders Coach through to the end of the year. And then I asked Supergrok to give me a list of prompts to put into GenSpark to create the marketing content for the marketing plan. And it spat out some prompts that were like 15 or 16 lines long with lots of specificity.
Detailed,
and Supergrok understands what GenSpark is and then what prompts would best suit GenSpark to generate the results that I'm looking for. And I thought that was genius because, it does it in like 30 seconds and it's so much better and so much more detailed than anything I could do. And I couldn't believe that I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, just ask the AI to create the prompts that'll give you the outcome.
No, it's pretty cool, all the amount of things that we can actually do with AI. So yeah. But for anyone listening out there and only starting their AI journey, may I say, a couple of things. So I recommend ChatGPT, Grok for anything that's market analysis, up-to-date information. I was going to say a third one and I forgot now. Okay, that's it. And then I recommend getting a paid version one. You don't have to go for the expensive one, but a paid version one that starts learning things about you as you go. I think that really makes things easier. And obviously think through the prompts, but as you just said, you can actually use AI to help you define the correct prompt. So I think if you start with that, you'd be, that's a good start too.
I agree. That's where I'd start. Just ask your AI, whatever one you're using, to give you a list of the best prompts for whether it's market research.
You have to be very clear in terms of the objective. Okay, you have to say, well, and again, where would you use this as a builder? I mean, marketing is a good one. The other day, I was talking to one of my clients, and I said, he was asking me about his Instagram, and I said, take a screenshot of your Instagram and then put it into ChatGPT and ask what's the feedback, right? And eventually I did it for him. But ChatGPT just tells you, hey, this looks. It gives you like a pros and cons of your of that screenshot, which was an Instagram account. It's pretty easy, straightforward to do. But so marketing is something to use it for. As you said, maybe emails, respond to difficult clients. What other thing?
Market research. I was asking, give me a list of the best Airbnb locations in different countries and why they are the best locations for a off the grid, modular type build. Where you can access, thermal heating, geothermal heating and things like that. It'll tell you, and it'll tell you why, and it can do a deep dive. Again, if you're using paid versions, it can go deeper. But that sort of research, which would normally take, weeks for people to do manually, is done in seconds. So, chasing the margin, then the revenue, looking at, where are the most profitable markets in your location? What do they look like? And then, the great thing with that is it also, like, for example, we had, I'll give it a specific example. So one of my builders was looking at doing heritage homes as a niche. And they weren't sure whether there were enough heritage builds in their geographical area. So while we're talking, I just ran it through Supergrok. I said, how many heritage homes are built in this area? And it said, well, here's the number of applications that go through. And in that specific location, there's a heritage build application that needs to go through. So I could tell there were 100 to 150 applications that go through each year in that location. Not all of them, get approved and go through to build, but the estimate is between 50 and 80 builds get done a year. And it said, here's the two specialist heritage home builders that do the majority of those builds. and they were able to look at their websites, who they were, but they only need 3 or 4 builds a year. So that answered their question, is the market big enough? Yes. And when there's competitors in that market, that tells you that there's a market there. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
I just something that came back to me. Jamie, when he was doing his presentation at the event, he said something, and I thought, yeah, this is a good way to see it. So you have to treat AI. So AI is like the best intern in the world. It means it's really keen to help you, and it can do a lot of things for you, all the research, etc., like deep down analysis, research, etc. But you still have to be careful because it might not get everything right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all comes back to the instructions that you give it, right?
Yes, exactly. Which is true with an intern, right? I've had interns or junior people work for me, and it's true. You have to, and then sometimes they go off the wrong path, and then you just have to redirect it and like explain, hey, this is not really what I wanted. This is what I wanted. But yeah.
What have you got some other applications for AI outside of what we've been talking about where you use it?
Personally?
Yeah.
Oh, I use it all the time now. I use it. I mean, I use it for our family, right? The other day, the dog was having like a weird rash, and I just took a photo of Roxy, and I put in ChatGPT and say, hey, tell me. And then when I've got things that are specific, I usually, in terms of prompt, I say act as a and then I'll say like a vet or an expert in French Bulldog breeders if I'm asking something about the breeding process. Anyway, so I will say act as and then say what I'm expecting. So I say act as a vet and tell me if I should be worried about this rash that's on my dog. And then I just upload a photo and say, it just gives me say. And it always goes like, I'm not a vet, but it looks like this, if you're concerned. So I had a look. I was like, okay.
We used it for Cooper as well, for appendicitis.
Yeah,
it was quite helpful in just giving you like data, statistics, what to be mindful of,
Yeah, so I use it for so many things all the time,
Planning holidays.
Planning holidays. I think, do you remember like way at the beginning when we started using it, and then someone I think told us, oh, you can use it for a trip, and then we did that like, oh, we're going to Europe for 3 weeks. This was like at least 2 years ago. Give us an itinerary of where to go, etc.
Yeah, with 4 kids.
So
in these countries,
Yeah, use it all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what? The only thing that, because I used it for this also, and I do not recommend it. I asked it to give me a recipe on how to cook lamb or something the other day.
Yeah.
And that was a fail. So don't use it for cooking recipes. Stick to the
I
cooking
wonder where it was
books.
getting its information from. Yeah. Well, we've got...
No, I mean, it cooked it, but it was like, it had no, like, it had no flavor or anything.
Well, there you
so
go.
I was like, yeah, okay. So that's great.
But like the key is anyone
Otherwise,
listening...
it's never failed me.
It's been good so far. Hey, we've got school holidays coming up and potentially bad weather as well. So we should ask Chat what we can do, with kids indoors, how to avoid cabin fever.
Something I want to say. So the exercise, the workshop, the AI stuff that we did at the event was obviously amazing. We're going to do another version of that at your next event in Melbourne, the 31st of July. So guys, if you're in Melbourne and you were not able to come to our big event, there's just a 1-day intensive in Melbourne on the 31st of July. Yeah. And then we've got heaps of things planned for the rest of the year.
Busy running to Christmas, some exciting things.
August, we're looking at Tasmania.
Yeah.
September, I don't know if you've announced it already.
We've got the South Coast, New South Wales. September, New Zealand.
Yeah, September, New Zealand. That's going to be a really good one.
Yeah.
So a lot of things in the plan.
Watch this space.
Yeah. Cool. Sure. Was there something else you wanted to wrap up with?
I think I'll just say, and you've probably heard this before, you won't be replaced by AI, but you will be replaced by someone using AI. So, make sure you're someone using it.
Yeah, make sure that's you. Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Cheers, guys. Take care.